under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore, they work all day. Out in the sun, they slave away. While we devoted. Floating under the sea.
Hello then, fellow hunters. Let's descend to the deep and have a whale of a time. Yeah, we're in for one of those. Meet Ceadeus. Look, honestly, with the amount of arguing over how actually to say this, I'm just gonna call him Big Fucking Whale. Big Fucking Whale superficially resembles a Dunkleosteus, a very much ancient marine fish, as opposed to, you know, those ancient skyfish.
Hello, ground.
He is an elder dragon, the ocean dragon, and he is gargantuan, reaching almost 60 meters in length, and he would dwarf 2 blue whales end to end, and he has the sheer force befitting his size. They are able to travel at incredible speeds, at least relative to their bulk. They do this to launch skyward, cresting into the air to take a breath. But this, though, is a very much sought-after, rare sight to behold, for 2 main reasons. Ceadeus live in the deep dark, where light not penetrates, and there are all manner of horror. The second is that it can hold its breath for months at a time. Like, months! Like, I don't... Why did I take a breath? Here, let me demonstrate. Which is an impressive pair of lungs on him, and it lets him go about his lazy life down there with very much ease, drifting in the cold void, waiting for the next meal, for he is a predator, albeit fairly specialized. Using the aforementioned speed, he can ram into potential prey. The 2 horns are cresting his head, 2 of the most impressive horns in all Monster Hunter. They are dense as rock and sharpened to a razor point. Well, they will impale, crush, and generally obliterate all in their path, and in their path tends to be Nekakos. Yes, an adult Ceadeus is a big fan of juicy blue meat. Though Nekakos does like to get a little bit of petty revenge and preys a lot on young baby Ceadeus, who make quite the nice little snack. I say petty revenge, like, oh you, that's a bit childish, eating my kids. What are you like, Nekakos? Can't look away for a second. But no, it is a little bit of a back and forth between these 2, as they are the titans of the ocean deep, and they vie for control all the time. In fact, Nekakoses tend to come to the surface and make the nest of bones that we know and love so much when they are driven away by a hungry Ceadeus. But back to Ceadeus, and specifically back to his mighty pair of ramsticks. Well, Ceadeus lives a very long time, so long, in fact, well, we'll get to that, but it is lengthy, and unfortunately for him, well, his horns, they don't stop growing, and they don't stop growing, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. Which means, eventually, well, he ends up blind. So, yeah, kinda sucks to be an old Ceadeus. But hey, Ceadeus is part of one of the most elite, exclusive groups in all Monster Hunter. They are known as the few without legs.
Oh shit! Get your towels ready, it's about to go down! Everybody in the place hit the fucking deck! But stay on your
So how does he get by, well, so deep in the ocean where light fears to tread? He is one glowy boy. He has panels lining down his body, acting as fleshy light bulbs glowing eerily in the gloom. He is a champion of bioluminescence. But it doesn't stop there, for he is in a symbiotic relationship with some algae. Look, it's not our place to judge when true love rears its head, okay? Alright? This algae, then, loves to live in Ceadeus' signature and legendary beard. It is a beautiful beard. It is a beard of kings. It is a champion beard. God, what a fucking beard! And it lives in there, and it softly also hums with light. But its chief purpose is to produce oxygen. Not to take away from his lungs, but they aren't nearly as impressive as I made them sound earlier. This algae then produces oxygen as a waste product, and it gets trapped between his hairs in a thin film of air. This then eventually is shaken loose, and a portion of it taken on board as an almost undersea refill station that is growing underneath his chin. It's a pretty neat system, all in all. A huge, muscular tail, flippers that could quite literally slap you silly. He is quite agile for his size too, spiraling round, lithe and wiggly like a snake. He can fit in surprisingly small spaces. In fact, this is what caused the conflict with Ceadeus, for he is a calm monster by nature. Ridiculously calm, like detrimentally calm. Like, this guy is so calm it kills him. Like, he needs to be provoked unbelievably, at least when it's by a hunter, an equally sized combatant, and he is ready to go. But the fly-esque poking and pinching of a hunter swimming alongside, he's just... Aw, that's cute. Look, he's having fun. I'm losing a bit of blood, but like, oh, he'll tucker himself out soon, the little darling. You have to wail on him and wail on him. That one was an accident! And wail on him until eventually, after following him slowly through this underwater cavern system, he will eventually be like, alright, enough's enough. Someone is about to die. And yeah, like, is that not one of the best, just beautiful themes? I adore it. Though I was a little bit confused when I found out what it was about. So once you have got him here, you are in a spiraling, crumbling underwater ruin, a forgotten civilization, a relic whose treasures are just waiting to be discovered. But first, we gotta go fishing. The battle isn't the most intensive thing in the world. He, despite being fast for his size, it's still fairly slow compared to a hunter. He can bash into you bodily, going through the headbutts, tail slaps, and he just likes to throw his weight and strength around, and you know, that is a lot of weight and a lot of strength, but you can kind of flow with him and you can learn to deal. He does have one particularly lethal onslaught with a absolutely cataclysmic, slicing, torrent of water that just shreds you, the room, and, well, a little bit of reality. His light panels then will turn red as he gets angry, the blood flowing through them and adding to an already otherworldly visage. But the reason it's down here, the reason it's in these caverns, well, it's trying to deal with its horns. They keep growing, right? So it can kind of combat that by butting them against the sea floor. Generally, this will file them down and buy him a little bit more I still have vision time, which, by the way, he does with such force that he causes tsunamis to start powering towards civilization. Like, that just has to be unlucky as hell. Just minding your own business and then... Damn you, Ceadeus! But this Ceadeus in particular, that you sadly have to slay, decided to butt his horns against the side of a cave. And this cave just happened to be connected to the ground on which Moga Village was built, a seafaring community. And this, well, it caused huge disastrous earthquakes that completely disrupted the way of life, causing huge damage and general despair, which wasn't great, and initially Elegiacrus got blamed for this. And, you know, we killed him just in case. You gotta be thorough, right? You gotta work through your suspects one corpse at a time. And eventually we realized it was Ceadeus, and we dove down into the ruins and had one final eclectic bout. It is an experience fight. It's a Lao Shanglong or a Kovtarov. It's a follow it along and it's just enjoy the ride. It's not the most farmable in the world, but it is definitely something you won't forget. I mean, it is a giant whale. Like someone just said, whales are cool. Let's have a monstrous whale. And I am all for that. Sometimes just taking a creature, giving it that little bit of a monstrous polish, and then letting it loose. That's all you need to make something quite special. And it is sad that he is lost to the death of underwater combat. Mayhaps one day he returns. But for now, we have seen his last. Legendary elder dragons, known as both shining giants of the depths and great sea dragons. Not confirmed to exist until recently, the Moga quakes were due to a Ceadeus butting its abnormally long horns into the earth. He's a fun one, he really is, and he gets even more fun! See, I mentioned earlier something else happens when a Ceadeus gets old enough, and, well, it turns gold.
I'd rather be shiny like a treasure from a sunken pirate wreck. Scrub the deck and make it look shiny.
Now known as the Goldbeard Ceadeus. Isn't it beautiful? Absolutely shining in its splendor. What the fuck? This golden hue, then, is by it having, well, rather too much bacteria than it needs, escaping from just the confines of the beard, spreading thickly across his entire body, the soft shimmer appearing him to be coated in gold. Now, its horns completely covering its eyes, absolutely just, I think I can use it, ginormous. It can still mysteriously sense the hunters, lending the guild to speculate that the horn problem may not be one after all. However, what they can confirm is that being blind all the time kinda makes him a grumpy little swimmer, and he is a lot more aggressive than a normal Ceadeus, requiring very little provocation to wreck your shit. So, there you have it, guys. The Whale Elder Dragon Ceadeus. He is certainly one of a kind. Will we see him again? As I said, it's doubtful lest underwater combat return, but I would love to see him make a cameo appearance. Well, I think it's optimistic to assume we would get him in World. I would love, just occasionally, when you're stood in Astera looking out to sea, you just see a little tail flip and break the surface tension before slipping back down. into whence it came. Just a little nod to monsters old. Or at least if we ever do get a kind of tropical islandy map as caused by Zora's energy release, in the distance of the waters there, just a little nod to the old bearded chap and what he meant to all of us back then. For those that have fought him, how do you like him? For those that are seeing him for the first time, also, how do you like him? And to both groups, thank you very much for watching. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. Oh, goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.